welcome to Let's Go Racing. I'm Dani Gibson here with Dick Jerardi. We are on NBC Sports Philadelphia. It is Kentucky Derby Day and a really exciting time in horse racing. It's a historic year. It's the 150th year. And if you didn't get to Kentucky, come out. We are racing live here at Parx. Post time is 12:40. It's going to be a great day here at Parx if you're not out in Louisville.
No question, Dani. I've been there 34 times. You've been there once. You were there with me 2 years ago. And it's 150, longest continuous sporting event in America. Happened every year for 150 straight years. Think about that. The Kentucky Derby, first winner Aristides, and maybe we'll figure out who the winner of this year's race is going to be. 22 were entered. One has been scratched. The 21 horses now in, and we'll discuss all of it in the next half an hour.
Oh, we certainly will. Post-time favorite is Fierceness. That's coming out as the morning line favorite.
Yeah, it's interesting. Todd Pletcher has started 64 horses in the Kentucky Derby, and he's won twice. Everybody says, well, that's not a very good record. But you know how many favorites he's had, Dani? One. You know how many times his favorite won when he had a favorite? One. Always Dreaming was the favorite, and he won. So Todd has had all these horses. This is the second time he's going to have the favorite, and I think he can make a pretty good case. This is the best horse Todd Pletcher has ever brought to the Kentucky Derby. In addition, Dani, there's some years where he runs 3 or 4 or 5 horses. He's only running 1 this time. What does that tell you?
Well, it's a homebred for Mike Rapoli, who is a big name in horse racing. What a party it would be if Fierceness gets the win. Let's talk about our second choice. Chad Brown is another big name we know in horse racing. He sends out Sierra Leone. Now, we know Chad mostly on the turf, but he's got some pretty good dirt horses as well, and he has one with Sierra Leone.
Yeah, he does. This is a $2.3 million yearling, and he's done well in the Derby, Dani, given all the chances he's had. Good Magic ran second to Justify, would have won many years, was on against the absolute killer. Zandon ran third 2 years ago to Rich Strike at 80-1. He won the Bluegrass. He's a nose from being undefeated. And the fascinating thing about him is he won the Risen Star, which is the key prep race. The Risen Stars produced the winners of the Bluegrass, the Louisiana Derby, and the Wood Memorial, 3 of the final big 6 preps.
One of the tough things about the Kentucky Derby is that big starting gate. Sierra Leone has some known starting gate issues. Horses can be a little claustrophobic. The Kentucky Derby starting gate is even smaller than the normal starting gate. They've been working on it. Do you think that's going to be a fault for him?
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Again, they've had this 20-horse starting gate now for a number of years. Remember, before it was 14, then they had the auxiliary gate. It's better for the horses on the inside. You don't have to run right into the rail. The problem is the stalls themselves, as Dani was saying, are a little smaller, and Sierra Leone has had some issues not getting into the starting gate, getting out of the starting gate. The good news is he has a running style where he comes from way back anyway, so his start is not as important as, say, Fierceness, where the start means everything.
Well, it is a very padded starting gate. Hopefully he's feeling cozy and he likes it in there. Let's get to some of our trainers. We're going to begin with Fierceness, trainer Todd Pletcher, and other hopefuls looking for that Run for the Roses win.
Todd, you mentioned that the works don't get more important than this, and they don't get more scrutinized than the works of the favorites before the Derby. For the layperson, though, could you tell us, sort of elaborate on what you were looking for, what you saw out there?
Well, I thought what was impressive about it was he gradually picked it up throughout the work. Showed great energy coming to the finish line. Super gallop out. Love the way when he turned up the backside, and I'm looking at my watch going, wow, this horse is just galloped about 112 and change, and then he puts his ears up like he's totally relaxed and doing it in hand. So you don't see horses do that very often.
I mean, nothing's in a vacuum, but can you talk about him coming into this race against this field versus past years when you've come to the Derby?
I think we've only had one favorite, and it gives me a similar feel to Always Dreaming, coming in off the Florida Derby win. The horse is training really well, and hopefully, we just can have everything continue to go as smoothly as it has so far.
He does everything so easy, so calm, so cool. He's collective. Todd was growing up was a big San Antonio fan, and he's like Tim Duncan, chill, relaxed, collective. The only time he's really good is when he works and he runs, and other than that, you wouldn't pick him out. It's so funny. It's like I've been through this a lot. A horse like this calms you down, calms me down. I mean, he's just he just gets it, man. He does everything so right.
I feel really good about Track Phantom as far as met several of these horses, competed well against them, and he's capable of moving forward off his last race. Love our draw. 12 gives Joel plenty of options, but hopefully, with that being said, hopefully jumps well from the gates, and then he goes from there.
We've been here long enough. He's acclimated. He's trained better going into this race, and he's fit and he's doing good. And he come out of the bluegrass really good. And he got the little hiccup after the Fountain Youth, and we missed a little bit of training. And really pleased with how he's coming into this race, and he's doing really good. And we just got to hope everything's good tomorrow, and we keep going forward, and hopefully we can get lucky.
Going in with this horse, you'd have to think, I mean, he should be undefeated, really, outside of some inexperience in the Remsen, really. Is really the only reason why the horse lost. So in that regard, I'd say if I view him as an undefeated, beautiful, expensive, well-bred horse that's, basically undefeated in my mind. If you're bringing an undefeated horse into the Derby, if you look at it that way, he's the best chance we've had.
We're going to have a lot more Kentucky Derby talk later in the show. And of course, Dick and I will give our selections who we think is going to win. But let's get to some local racing. We're going to take a look back at Monday's 9th race. This is a PA bred allowance race for fillies and mares, going just a quick 5.5 furlongs. And the favorite is the number 2, Gray Lightning.
Was 4-5 when they were in the starting gate. When they came out, 1-5. And Gray Lightning, we talked about her on the show last week, is one of the most exciting horses we've seen here in a long time.
Oh, she's little, compact, and she is lightning. Second choice is Don't Pass the Princess for trainer Frank Pollara.
Yeah, Don't Pass the Princess is solid in her own right. That's what's cool about this field. Gray Lightning on paper lays over the field, but there's other really talented horses in the race.
It's almost going to be like 2 separate races, and we'll see that. Here's the call of Monday's 9th race.
Gray Lightning shows them the way as they head down the backstretch towards the far turn. It is Gray Lightning. Don't Pass the Princes. You're the one losing some ground. She's in 3rd and under a drive. Then it's the Goddess of Snakes and Twist Her the opening quarter. 22-3. Gray Lightning all by herself on the front end as they head through the far turn. She is confidently handled so far. Gray Lightning a comfortable lead. In second, Don't Pass the Princes. You're the one. The Goddess of Snakes getting in gear from the back, and Twist Her still the trailer at the top of the stretch. Gray Lightning has yet to be asked. She hits the top of the stretch in command. All out in second. Don't Pass the Princes. You're the one. The Goddess of Snakes making up some ground, but it's too little too late. Gray Lightning is putting on a show. She has a 16th left to go. Gray Lightning and George Vargas Jr., they strike today. Hand ride for the win.
And Gray Lightning did her thing. She just bounced right out of the gate, won by an impressive 12.25 lengths. And it was kind of cool to watch Georgie Vargas just kept looking under his shoulder. They were never coming. One for new ownership and our club. They just paid a cool $370,000 for her. We caught up with the winning trainer, Tyler Service. All right, Tyler, nice win, new owners, but same fast little filly.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, big thanks to the NR Club for having the confidence and keeping this filly with me. I think bigger things are to come. She proved herself today. I mean, it was a good spot off a big performance. I gave her the 5 weeks, and it was everything she needed.
I do not remember the last time a horse won consecutive races here by a combined 27 lengths. Danny, 94 buyer speed figure again for Gray Lightning. And Tyler said he's looking next at the Jersey Girl Stakes, which will be Belmont Stakes weekend at Saratoga, going 6 furlongs for 150, and the ultimate goal will be the Test Stakes at Saratoga, the Grade 1, right in the heart of the meet in the summertime.
Would be fun to root for this Pennsylvania bred filly. She is little and light, and she can just fly over that ground. One for her new owners, and she's going to be a lot of fun to watch. It's time for our first break. We're going to have more Kentucky Derby talk, and it's the return of That's Right, who ran down at Laurel Park, all coming up on Let's Go Racing.
Heading into the turn, That's Right is clear. That's Right by 3.
This is Parx.
This is how you roll. This is how it goes. This is how you pop. This is how you rock. Take a chance, do a dance, little romance. This is how you. This is how you excite. This is how you all night. 360 hit me. Now we're going all in. I can feel it calling. The crowd, the light, the night, the sights, the vibe is right. This is how you. This is
Parx, Pennsylvania's #1 casino experience. This is how you win.
The question a lot of people are asking themselves these days is, do I buy new or do I buy pre-owned? Here's what I'll tell you. New car inventories are still low and new car prices are still high. However, with the certified pre-owned Nissan at Chapman Nissan, we have a huge selection, and you can save thousands over new. Plus a 7-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty, roadside assistance, 1-year prepaid maintenance, and so much more. And not for nothing. Can you really tell the difference? I can't.
Welcome back to Let's Go Racing. Well, we talked to some of our Parx trainers about the Kentucky Derby, but who better than John Service that won this very race in 2004 with Smarty Jones? We talked to him about what the Kentucky Derby means and who he likes for winning. John, the Kentucky Derby, what does the race mean to you?
Oh, well, every trainer, anybody in the business, trainer, owner, what groom, doesn't matter. The Kentucky Derby's the race. If you can win that, then you have a hell of a resume.
Who do you like in this year's Kentucky Derby?
It's a wide open race. Everybody's going to be on Sierra Leone, who looks like probably the best horse. The way his running style is, though, I think he's going to have everything his way. I'm leaning, it's supposed to get some rain, so I'm leaning a little bit toward Endlessly. Being a turf horse, might take to an off going, and obviously has the talent.
The Kentucky Derby means everything to us. As being in the racing industry, it's the pinnacle of our sport. All eyes are on the racing world today. Couldn't be more excited. Obviously, we host the Pennsylvania Derby right here at Parx Racing, and we love doing that. So hopefully some of the horses you see today eventually will come here, in September 21st to be exact. But yeah, it's just the highlights. The Super Bowl, it's the World Series, it's the NBA Finals, all condensed into a 1.25 mile race at Churchill Downs. So we couldn't be more excited. My pick, I think the best horse by far is Fierceness. I think if he shows up, he wins. He's got a couple great races on his record. As a Philadelphia native and a Philly sports fan, I got to go with Dornoch. Owned by Jason Worth, World Series champion. So hopefully Dornoch can be a Kentucky Derby champion. So looking forward to it, and don't forget to come out. Gates open at 10 o'clock, and we'll have live racing right here at Parx Racing.
We ran in it years ago. My dad had a horse in it in 1975. I was actually Benny Perkins' assistant, and it's. The one thing I can say, it is very chaotic when you're there. And this year, it just looks like a wide open race. I mean, you can make a case for almost every horse in the race. But I think the one, Fierceness, if he runs back to that, although he seems to bounce every time he runs a good race, but he's probably the horse to beat. But with that many horses, whoever gets the best trip.
Michael, you came so close to riding in this year's Kentucky Derby. What does this race mean as a jockey, and who do you think's going to win?
I think it means everything for a jockey. We work so hard every day. We put so much, hard work behind the scene that nobody knows. So, to make it is, is the best feeling in the world. And even if we win it, So, and to pick the winner, I feel like there's a lot of good horses. It's gonna be a wild race. And I think I'll pick Sierra Leone with Tyler Gaffalion. I think he's a really good horse. I think he's a fighter. I don't know, it's going to be a really good race for everybody.
Jack Armstrong, you've ran in a lot of races as an owner, but talk about the Kentucky Derby. What does this race mean as an owner, and who do you like to win?
I like Sierra Leone. I know it's the favorite, not going to make a lot of money, but if he wins, he wins. That's who I like. It's just a great day for sports, for horse racing in general. So, I mean, that's our day to shine. Everybody has a good day. We're also racing live at Parx that day, so hopefully we get a good turnout here. We get some nice races at Parx, and it'll be a good day for everybody.
And of course, we'll have our picks later in the show. Let's get to some more racing from Parx. We're going to take a look at Tuesday's 7th race. It's a maiden special weight $50,000 purse. They're going to go 2 turns, 1 mile and 70 yards. The favorite is number 2, Tricolor.
Yeah, Tricolor's had a lot of chances, 32, to break, or maybe this will be the time.
Well, let's get to post 1, Colville, a really well-bred horse. Let's talk about that breeding connection.
Yeah, speaking of John Service, this horse is out of Catherine Sophia, the 2016 Kentucky Oaks winner, and to this day, John Service is the only person who ever won the Derby and the Oaks with his first starter in each.
And I love that. He's here right at Parx. Well, let's get to the call of Tuesday's 7th race.
Freedom Eagle, Colville, putting some pressure on him now as they make the run into the far turn. Freedom Eagle, the well-bred Colville, looms to his outside. Big Ern McCracken, he's under a drive in 3rd. Then Tricolor, he's in 4th, followed by New Spell 5th. Sky's No Limit, Funstruck and still at the back, Humble Joe. They head through the far turn. Freedom Eagle has led every step of the way. Colville now keeping him company on the outside. Those two in tandem as they hit the top of the stretch. On the inside, Freedom Eagle. Colville in the white blinkers tries to stick his nose in front. Freedom Eagle counters down the center of the track. Tricolor making up some ground. Colville and Freedom Eagle, these two are in a battle. On the outside, Colville, Freedom Eagle, and Colville now a little bit better. Freedom Eagle tries to counter. Colville has the advantage, and the beautifully bred Colville gets the maiden win, followed by Freedom Eagle, then Bigger and McCracken and Tricolor.
And Colville does get the win. He puts it all together, and it was really interesting. I made sure I kind of listened to what Kate and Paco talked about. Paco said this horse has a lot of talent. He just seems confident, like any good athlete does, and it would be really cool to see him keep moving forward because he has the potential to be a superstar.
Well, the bloodlines are there. This is by into mischief out of Catherine Sophia, so you're talking major bloodlines, but yeah, up till now it hasn't happened, but maybe that's the breakthrough.
Yeah, maybe it is. Well, let's go down to Laurel Park. It's the seasonal debut of That's Right, who won our Turf Monster just 2 years ago. He's not our post-time favorite, though. It's Rock the Boat, and these horses are going to go a fast 5.5 furlongs.
Yeah, and Rock the Boat has some serious paper coming in, understandably why he's the favorite. Hasn't run, though, since last June.
Well, That's Right is back, and this is an allowance optional claiming race, and like you said, they did take the chance.
Yep.
That's Right was in for the $40,000 tag.
Now, he didn't have the year last year that they wanted. Obviously, he's a 3-year-old. He was sensational, including winning the Turf Monster. The one thing you know about Michael Moore's horse, he is fast. I mean, really fast.
He certainly is. Here is the call of the race down at Laurel Park.
They race to the top of the stretch. That's Right, pouring on the speed with a 5-length advantage. Childers on the chase all the way from second. Another 7 back. The others have to get going. Ego Man is in third. That's Right is full of run for that final furlong. That's Right in front by 6. Childers second and a big gap back. Grateful Bread. Belated late interest on the inside with a 16th to go. It is That's Right and Childers outside. Rock the Boat also closing, trying to vie for third. That's Right.
And That's Right. That is right. He dictated the pace. He responded strongly when asked, and it looks like he is back in business.
Yeah, 87 buyer, Danny. Mike sent me a text right after the race, said, look, we were trying to get him a confidence builder. Well, that kind of a race can win stakes races at 5/8 on the turf and 5.5 on the turf. And last year, he never got loose on the lead. He was always harassed. He got loose on the lead this time, and when he's out there by himself, he is a stone-cold killer.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun for owner Jim Shannon. Well, we have another break to get to, but so much more coming up in the show. Our Jockey of the Week has a new look you won't want to miss, Trainer of the Week, and more from historic Kentucky Derby.
When you open the Parx app, you're in the zone. Winning is always a rush, but the money is in the moments. It's the anticipation of another face card, the thrill of an extra spin, and the pure joy of a jackpot. It's all your favorite games at your fingertips. Plus, get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. You play for fun, you love to win. You bet. Parx.
Welcome back to Let's Go Racing. We have a new sponsor for our Jockey of the Week, NovaCare. Let's see who is this week's Jockey of the Week.
That's right, guys. It's time for Jockey of the Week, presented by NovaCare, the power of physical therapy. And this week's Jockey of the Week, it's Jorge Vargas Jr. A big week, rode Capital Conquest and also rode Great Lightning. A huge week for the journeyman. Jorge Vargas Jr., our Jockey of the Week, presented by NovaCare, the power of physical therapy.
We have another great Turning for Home family photo to share with you. Dance Undercover. Her and Melissa have been together for 11 amazing years. They knew from the beginning they were meant for each other. They're competing in shows, and they look to elevate their show status and get a little tougher in the future. But said Dance Undercover always gives her 200%, and they're in love. What can you say?
A lot of cool things happening here at Parx and the PTHA, but nothing cooler than Turning for Home.
Oh, we love our family photo of the week. Let's get to Trainer of the Week. We talked about John Service earlier in the show, but what about his son, Tyler Service, who is also doing big things, and he is the trainer of a really cool horse, Gray Lightning.
And it's so cool to think back 20 years when Tyler was just a kid, and Smarty Jones and Bruce Casella, of course, had all those great shots of Tyler and John and the family, and here Tyler is a star trainer himself with a potential superstar filly in the barn.
Oh, we'll have a lot of fun watching them this summer. Let's get to best of the rest. We're going to get to this week's PTHA Trophy race. It was Tuesday's second race, and keep an eye on Evolutionary. This is going to be a good battle, though.
Yeah, Mike Sanchez, Mike Pino, and loose in the lead, but under duress the whole time. Is Evolutionary going to hold on, Danny, at 2-1? Yes, by a neck at the wire.
Yeah, good first-time start, though, by Confiscated, a son of Arrogate for Kate DeMassey. One to look out for, but we caught up with this week's PTHA Trophy race winning trainer, Mike Pino, on his horse, Evolutionary. Evolutionary, 3 seconds, finally got it done today. A promising horse for you. Tell us about him and his start today.
Yeah, he's starting to pick it up and learn. You know, he was French second. He wouldn't switch leads. We got him to switch leads, and he dug back in. But he's by the same sire as For Love and Bourbon. So we were going to the sale, look for Love and Bourbon's full brother, and we wind up liking this Bourbon Curse better. So we wind up buying this horse.
Well, hopefully he's just as talented as Horse of the Year for the Love of Bourbon, and he ran awesome today. Congratulations.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Really cool to see Evolutionary win. Hopefully he can continue on like For the Love of Bourbon, which was our Horse of the Year a few years ago for trainer Mike Pino. Well, it's time for Eye on Racing. All eyes are on the big day in Churchill Downs at Kentucky Derby Day.
Yeah, no question. Not just the Derby, all kinds of good races all day long, and specific focus on Anna Marie here. He's got an interesting backstory, Dan.
Yeah, it has some local connections. Christian Milante was the bloodstock agent that purchased Anna Marie just as a yearling. Of course, new owners have it now, and we caught up with Whit Beckman on Anna Marie's chances in the big race.
Hopefully a decent pace set up in the race. You know, you got a few, Fierceness, Track Phantom, and probably a couple others that are hopefully be aggressive early, set something up. I mean, we know he's probably more comfortable closing. Hopefully we don't end up too deep of a closer, and we kind of, you know, adjust according to what, you know, happens when the gates open. But for the most part, I know he's going to be doing his best running late. We just hope that everything sets up to give him the best chance.
Well, we wish all the best to Anna Marie and the connections, and I think they have a pretty good chance of getting a good piece of it.
I like him at least to hit the board. I'm going to be using him.
I know he's your long shot that you like. Well, we have so much more coming up, but we have to take our final break. We have Parx picks. Of course, Craig Donnelly has an opinion. We're going to break down the Kentucky Derby field, all coming up on Let's Go Racing.
This is Parx.
This is how you roll, this is how it goes. This is how you pop, this is how you rock. Take a chance, do a dance, little romance. This is how you. This is how you excite, this is how you all night. 360 hit me, now we're going all in. I can feel it calling, the crowd, the light, the night, the sights, the vibe is right. This is how you. This is
Parx, Pennsylvania's #1 casino experience. This is how you win.
Welcome back to Let's Go Racing. Well, it's time for Parx Picks, and we are racing today here at Parx. Post time is 12:40. We're going to take a look at Saturday's 5th race. There's some really cool horses in this field, but ultimately I did land on Zoomer. He was one of my favorite horses here at Parx. He's been claimed quite a bit because he's so popular. He is back in the Jamie Ness barn. He has won Hard Knock and Sana Curlin, and I think he gets it done. He likes the Parx track, and he's a hell of a fighter.
My favorite kind of race here. Only one speed horse in a 2-turn race. Jules in the Bay is going to be absolutely loose in the lead for my man Roger Brown, and I do not think they're going to catch him. Jules in the Bay all the way.
Well, let's talk about the Kentucky Derby. We've been talking about it all show. Who do we think's going to get the win? And we actually agree on the same horse.
We do. Who do you like, Danny?
Fierceness. Look, we talked about this and watched videos, and we've been watching all these races. There's so many horses that I can make so much of a case for, but nothing makes as much sense as Fierceness. Of course, I like Just Steel as my long shot. Just a Thought is my intrigue horse, but Fierceness on top for me.
Yeah, look, I'm a Fierceness guy. I'm a member of the Buyer Speed Figure team for 30 years. Speed figures are my life. It's what I do. This horse has all the numbers. It's all about getting out of the gate. If he gets out of the gate, he gets good position. They're not going to beat him, and in fact, I think he's going to win by a big margin. So, Fierceness for me. And last year's Kentucky Derby, not an easy exact that I had. Mage over 2 fills, but our good friend Craig Donnelly had it cold. Let's see what Craig likes in this year's Kentucky Derby. Here with Craig Donnelly to talk about some races today. Craig, let's start with Parx Racing live here today. Race 8, what do you like?
It's very interesting, and the number 3 in the 8th race, Spites the Red,
has run 48 times, and the amazing thing is his 48th race was his best ever. I picked against him, and I was amazed that he just took over, dominated on the turn, cruised to victory, and I was thinking this is a real hard-knocking game horse, but how is it that he hit his peak at his 48th start? So I'm looking for him to step up a bit, a little better field, and fire again.
Good. And at Kentucky, Craig, the Turf Classic is the race prior to the Kentucky Derby. Very interesting Pennsylvania bred in here. I'm very busy for Chad Brown, who's been on a roll, but you like somebody else. Tell us why.
Funny thing is, I like the turf racing at Colonial, and I saw Integration's debut. I couldn't believe the move he made. It was powerful. So lucky enough, I actually took my money when he was in the Virginia Derby. Kinder Carmouche rode him, bet him. He got like 6.5 to 1. So I'm a little prejudiced in his favor since he put money in my pocket. I'm looking for Integration to sit off the pace and hopefully make that explosive run again. It is a tough field. There's a lot of possibilities, but I do think he can run a big race.
So Integration in the Turf Classic for Craig. Let's go on to the Derby, and I mentioned at the top, Craig called the Exacta last year in the Derby, major over 2 fills. He just said to me, that'll never happen again. Maybe it will happen again, Craig. What do you like?
It's not. The winner's not going to pay $33, and the Exacta's not going to pay $330. So I've got to accept that. But I do have 2 numbers I've never picked in a race in 50 years. I like the 17-19 4-2 rather Superfecta. Fierceness to me. I saw his last race, didn't have a real opinion of him. It was awesome. I mean, if he runs back to that race, the rest of them are in trouble. And you say, well, he's post 17. I think that gives him a chance to get in the clear, pick his path. Hopefully he can just be like 3 wide stalking. I don't believe he has to be in front, all these generalities. I think he can probably sit off the pace. He hasn't proven he can't. The way he won last time, the Florida Derby could have been 7 miles he was going to win it. So I don't think the distance will be a problem. He's training great. I think the post is a plus. However, one horse I'm surprised at, second, Resilience, number 19. I'm surprised he's 20 to 1 in the program. His form's excellent. They put blinkers on last time. He romps. It's Bill Mott, who's do nothing wrong in the last few years, or actually his entire career. So I think Resilience could sneak in there. And of course, Sierra Leone, number 2. He's within inches of having a perfect record. It's Chad Brown, but breaking from post 2, if everybody comes over, he doesn't have speed, he's going to have to get lucky and work out a really good trip.
So you got to like the 17-19 cold Exacta from Craig Donnelly in this year's Kentucky Derby.
Well, hopefully we're winners, and you guys could be winners too. We are racing today. Make sure you come out and join us.
Yeah, Let's Go Racing Parx.com this week, Danny. I wrote about a lot of my Derby memories. I've been there 34 years with you 2 years ago. It's a lot of fun. Check that story out, and my pick is in there and how I like to see the race and all of that. But make sure you come out here to Parx today.
I loved your story this week, I just have to say. And I love revisiting the story you wrote when you had the Derby through my eyes. It was so cool. But hope you had a great show. We sure did. Come join us today, racing post times 12:40. We'll catch you next week on Let's Go Racing.
And they're off. Skippy Longstocking has early speed. We the people from in between horses. Tama's got the lead now. It's Tama in the center of the racetrack, but Tama is drawing away, and Tama with Mike Smith, they win the Bet Parx Pennsylvania Derby.